What if the reason you feel unsettled lately is not because something is wrong, but because something important is trying to get your attention? Not fear, not coincidence, something deeper. You wake up tired even after rest. You move through your days, but part of you feels paused, like life is happening near you, not through you. You have done what was expected. You stayed patient. You stayed quiet. And still, that silent pressure keeps building inside your chest. That feeling is not weakness. It is awareness knocking. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are standing at a moment most people never recognize until it passes. A moment where comfort starts to feel smaller than the cost of staying the same, where routine no longer numbs the ache, where your soul refuses to be distracted anymore. This is what it feels like when a door is near. The mind tries to explain it away. You call it stress, bad timing, exhaustion. But deep down, you know it is none of that. Something is shifting. Old thoughts no longer satisfy you. Old excuses sound hollow. Old fears feel exposed. You are beginning to see clearly, and clarity is uncomfortable before it becomes freeing. Many people mistake this moment as a breakdown. It is not. It is a separation between who you have been and who you are being invited to become. There is a reason distractions feel louder now. A reason doubt suddenly has a voice. A reason comfort feels tempting but empty. When something meaningful approaches, the mind panics because it knows change threatens familiarity. And familiarity, even when painful, feels safe to the brain, so resistance appears. Not to stop you, but to test how serious you are about more. You have been praying in your own way, maybe not with words, but with endurance, with patience, with nights where you wondered if your effort mattered, with mornings where you forced yourself forward anyway. Those prayers do not go unheard, but answers do not always arrive as relief. Sometimes they arrive as disruption. This moment is not here to scare you. It is here to wake you, to show you that the life you have been tolerating is not the life you were designed for. That settling has a cost, and that cost is slowly becoming heavier than the fear of change. Pay attention to how your heart reacts right now, not your logic, not your history, your heart. It knows this is real. It knows this is different. You are being invited into alignment, into growth that demands courage, into a version of yourself that requires you to stop waiting for perfect conditions. Nothing needs to be fixed about you. Something needs to be trusted within you. The door does not announce itself with noise. It opens quietly, almost politely. That is why so many miss it. They expect clarity without movement, certainty without risk. But this kind of opening responds to willingness, not comfort. It responds when you stop negotiating with fear. You do not need to understand everything. You do not need to feel ready. Readiness is a myth created by hesitation. What you need is honesty. And if you are honest, you know staying where you are will eventually cost you more than stepping forward ever could. This is not about ambition. It is about obedience to the pull you have been ignoring, about honoring the nudge that keeps returning, no matter how many times you push it away. You are not here by accident. You did not hear these words by chance. Something is opening for you, not loudly, not dramatically, but powerfully. And the only thing required right now is that you do not look away. Do not look away now. Moments like this do not repeat themselves. The pull you feel is not curiosity anymore. It is urgency. Something inside you knows that staying passive will cost you more than taking a risk ever could. This is the edge where comfort tries one last time to convince you to stay small. Right now, your mind is searching for excuses. It wants proof, guarantees, a sign so clear that no courage is required. But that is not how purpose works. The human brain is wired to protect you from uncertainty, even when uncertainty is the doorway to growth. That is why hesitation feels logical. That is why delay feels reasonable. And that is exactly why so many people miss their moment. You have already waited long enough, not because time ran out, but because something inside you has matured. The tolerance you once had for half-lived days is gone. The patience you used to justify silence is wearing thin. You are no longer comfortable pretending that survival is the same as living. Pressure is rising because the window is narrowing. This is not punishment. It is compression. Diamonds are not formed in ease. They are formed when staying the same becomes unbearable. The weight you feel is shaping you, forcing you to decide who you are when the choice matters. Notice how your attention sharpens when this feels serious. That is not fear. That is focus. Studies show that urgency clarifies values. When the stakes rise, the noise falls away. Suddenly, you see what matters. Suddenly, the distract ions lose their grip. This moment is stripping away what does not belong to you. You are being asked to trust movement over certainty, to act before confidence arrives. Confidence follows action, not the other way around. Every meaningful shift in your life began the same way, with discomfort, with doubt, with a step taken while your hands were still shaking. You do not need permission. You do not need validation. You do not need applause. Waiting for approval keeps doors closed. Stepping forward opens them. The path reveals itself only to those already walking. This is where belief becomes real. Not belief as an idea, but belief as behavior. Belief that changes posture. Belief that changes decisions. Belief that refuses to shrink when challenged. You are not meant to live cautiously at the edge of your potential. You are meant to step fully into it. If you stay where you are, you already know the outcome. You know the feeling of regret disguised as patience. You know the quiet resentment that grows when you ignore your own calling. Familiar pain feels safe, but it slowly erodes the soul. Growth hurts faster, but it heals deeper. The door does not stay open forever, not because it is cruel, but because timing matters, momentum matters. This opening is responding to who you are becoming, not who you were. Delay weakens resolve. Action strengthens identity. Every second you hesitate, fear rehearses its arguments. This is not about being fearless. Fear will be there. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement despite it. The people who change their lives are not braver than you. They simply move sooner. You are closer than you think, closer than you feel. Everything you have endured has sharpened you for this moment. Every setback trained you. Every quiet night prepared you. Nothing was wasted. Stand up inside yourself. Decide that this moment will not pass unnoticed. Decide that you will not trade destiny for comfort. Decide that you are ready to walk through what is opening, even if you cannot see the other side yet. This is not a rehearsal. This is not a warning. This is an invitation. And invitations like this do not knock twice. Stay present. Stay brave. Move. Do not slow down now. This is the moment where everything inside you wants to either rise or retreat. There is no neutral ground here. Staying undecided is a decision, and it always favors fear. The weight you feel is not meant to crush you. It is meant to push you forward. Right now, your nervous system is awake. Your senses are sharper. Your heart is louder. That is because moments that matter demand presence. This is where people either step into alignment or talk themselves back into sleep. Comfort will try to seduce you with logic. It will tell you to wait, to plan more, to be realistic. But realism has trapped more potential than failure ever has. You have felt this pull before, maybe weaker, maybe quieter, but this time it refuses to fade. That is because repetition is how truth insists. When something keeps returning, it is not asking for analysis. It is asking for obedience. You are not imagining this urgency. Your mind is recognizing a narrowing window. Psychologically, the brain shifts when it senses rare opportunity. Focus intensifies, emotion deepens, memory sharpens. This is how humans are wired to respond when something meaningful is at stake. Your body knows before your words catch up. Every excuse you reach for right now is familiar. You have used them before. They kept you safe, but they also kept you small. Safety without purpose eventually becomes suffocating. That is why your chest feels tight. That is why rest no longer refreshes you. That is why distractions have lost their power. This is the cost of ignoring what you are meant to do. Not instant disaster, but slow erosion, a quiet dimming of energy, a constant sense of almost. You were not designed for almost. This door is not opening because you are perfect. It is opening because you are ready to stop pretending, ready to stop negotiating with fear, ready to stop asking for permission from a past that no longer fits you. You do not need more motivation. You need conviction. Motivation fades. Conviction moves even when the feeling disappears. Conviction is built when you decide that obedience matters more than comfort. Look at how far you have already come, not in achievement, but in endurance. You survived seasons that should have broken you. You adapted when you had no guidance. You kept going when no one noticed. That strength was not wasted. It was training. This moment is asking you to cash in everything you learned, to trust that you did not endure for nothing, to believe that preparation often feels like delay until the door finally opens. You are standing in front of something that responds to action, not tomorrow, not later, now. Momentum is fragile. When you move, it multiplies. When you hesitate, it collapses. This is why urgency matters. This is why hesitation feels dangerous. You are not late, you are on time. But on time does not mean unlimited. It means precise. It means now or not at all. The version of you that stays still will look back and wonder. The version of you that moves will look back and understand. Understanding only comes after courage. This is not about knowing every step. It is about taking the first one with intention. Faith is not passive. It is active trust. It is movement without guarantees. Everything inside you is being tested, not to expose weakness, but to reveal strength. Pressure reveals truth. And the truth is this: you are capable of more than you have allowed yourself to believe. Do not shrink at the edge of your breakthrough. Do not soften when you are meant to stand firm. This moment is shaping who you become next. Stay awake, stay willing, stay bold. The door is still open. Hold your ground right here. This is the point where hesitation tries to disguise itself as wisdom. It tells you to slow down, to be careful, to not rush what feels this intense. But intensity is not danger. Intensity is truth rising to the surface. What you are feeling now is alignment pressing against fear. The door is open, but it does not stay open for those who keep testing it with doubt. It responds to decision. Not perfect decision, not fearless decision. A real one. The kind that settles something inside you and says enough waiting. Your heart already knows what to do. It has known longer than your mind will admit. That inner pull has been shaping your thoughts, your restlessness, your dissatisfaction with small dreams. You outgrew the life you were tolerating, and growth always demands movement. This is where many people step back, not because they cannot move forward, but because moving forward means letting go of an identity built around safety. Staying where you are protects the version of you that learned how to survive. Stepping forward gives birth to the version of you that is meant to lead, build, become. Fear wants proof before action. Faith moves first and lets proof follow. Psychology confirms this pattern. The brain rewires after commitment, not before it. Once you act, confidence rises. Once you choose, clarity sharpens. Waiting for certainty only keeps you circling the same ground. You have Allah. Eddie paid the price of staying still. You paid it with delayed joy, with muted potential, with days that blended together instead of standing out. You know what that road looks like. You have walked it long enough to recognize where it ends. This door is different, not because it promises ease, but because it demands honesty. It asks you to show up fully, to stop hiding behind preparation, to stop rehearsing a life you never step into. It asks you to trust that obedience matters more than understanding. Every season of pressure you endured was shaping your capacity for this moment. Nothing was random. The setbacks refined you. The silence strengthened you. The waiting taught you endurance. You were being prepared to carry what is on the other side of this door. Do not minimize this moment. Do not tell yourself it is just emotion. Emotion fades. Calling does not. This pull has survived your doubt, your fear, your distractions. It is still here because it belongs to you. When you move now, you move with everything you have learned. You move with scars that taught you wisdom. You move with strength built in quiet places. You move as someone who has earned the right to step forward. This is where identity shifts. Not later, not gradually. Here, when you decide that comfort no longer has authority over your choices, when you choose growth even though your hands are shaking, when you stop asking what could go wrong and start honoring what could finally go right, you are not being asked to be reckless. You are being asked to be bold, bold enough to trust that the same force that opened this door will meet you on the other side, bold enough to believe that provision follows purpose. Bold enough to stop living half awake. The moment you act, something inside you will settle. Not because the path becomes easy, but because it becomes true. Truth brings peace even in challenge. Regret brings noise even in comfort. This is not about proving anything to anyone. This is between you and what you were created for. No one else can walk through this door for you. No one else will live with the cost of ignoring it either. Stand up inside yourself. Choose alignment over fear. Choose movement over delay. Choose to trust what has been calling you forward. The door is still open. Step through it.